It's been 3 years, and I bought a new phone. I thought you guys might want to know about it. I was one of the people who ordered the Pixel 7 Pro on the very first day. No major reviews, no feedback about the technology, and this is I think I've had it for 3 weeks. This is my 3-week reaction. I'll start with saying that I have the Peak Design case, the magnetic case for this phone, but as a whole, this phone is very slim. I really like this Peak Design case, and I'm going to show you some other products in the Peak Design ecosystem that I purchased with the case, but the case has a rough, sandy fabric background, and a lot of people have been complaining about how slippery the Pixel 7 Pros are. This has texture, this has grip. I very much like the case. I'm a big fan of it. I like the way that the case keeps the phone, it keeps it flat and flush with the back. I bought a cheap plastic case before Peak Design sent me this one, just to protect the phone for a couple of days, and it still stuck out. So I'm a big fan of the Peak Design case. I think it's $40. It's $40 or $50. I'll correct it here. If you have this phone, or if you have other phones that Peak Design sells a case for, I would highly recommend the Peak Design cases. I genuinely like them. Back to the phone. So the Pixel 7 Pro has bezeled edges. A lot of people have started to come out and say that they don't like them. I'm of that camp too. My previous phone, which was a OnePlus 7 Pro, also had the bezeled edges, and in general, I don't think that that's necessary for phones. I don't particularly like that bleeding over the edge effect. I think a flat phone would be better, and to my understanding, the standard Pixel 7 does not do that, and I probably would prefer that. I purchased the Pixel 7 Pro because I wanted more RAM. I wanted more, well, I guess you could buy storage in either of the phones. And I wanted the slightly bigger phone with the better refresh rate. So let's talk about the screen. So as a whole, the screen is very responsive. Some people on the internet have been complaining and saying there's some slow lag. I have not experienced that. As a whole, I find that the screen experience is very good with this phone. I don't know. Here, I'll open up YouTube. Another thing that I will compliment Google on, I was very apprehensive about switching from my previous phone with all of the messages and all of the other stuff that you want to bring over from your old phone, especially the Google Authenticator, the password program. Everything came over very easily. It was very easy to migrate this phone. There's a cable-to-cable connection. It'll pull your data over. I'm also a subscriber of Google One, so all of my stuff should have come over anyway, but it came over faster with the transition program that came with the phone. So sometimes phones don't come with them or they don't work. This did work, and that eased some of the phone switching anxiety. It worked very nicely. It worked well. I did not have a Pixel 6, but I was very well educated on the problems that people had with the Pixel 6, including the front-facing thumb reader or the fingerprint reader. I'm happy to tell you that my fingerprint reader experience is very good. It's very responsive. I haven't had any issues. And also, this has a face reader, which I'm not sure if the Pixel 7 standard has. I don't think that it does, but the Pro has a face reader. And unless it's very dark, and I do often check my phone in the dark, this works great too. So right now it's going to unlock. It unlocked. And there it is. So that's been working rather well. The fingerprint reader works pretty well. And as a whole, this is a very nice phone. The screen is nice. The audio is nice. The phone quality is nice. But let's get into the things that I don't like, and I think it's going to be one that you're expecting. Take a look-see at my phone signal. Here's my work phone. I hope I don't get in trouble for showing my work phone. I'll just show this. Take a look at that. So I use T-Mobile. This is a Galaxy S20, and if you see, it has a perfect signal. I live very close to a T-Mobile antenna, and with my previous OnePlus 7 Pro, I got a perfect signal in my house. Now, that was on a 5G phone, but I had perfect 4G. This is a 5G phone. This is also on T-Mobile. This is not even on my T-Mobile account. It's on my work account. This thing has a perfect signal. This doesn't. This does not show a perfect signal. Now, as I say that, I have been driving around with this phone. I live in South Jersey. I've been to Philadelphia. I've had a pretty good signal. It doesn't always show a great signal, but I've never dropped calls. I've never had a problem while in the city. I have been driving around all of South Jersey today. I had a signal all day today without a problem. So it's been able to connect, no issues. I've never lost a call inside the house. The only time that I've had a problem with the connectivity of the phone, I was at the Renault Winery, which is near Atlantic City, New Jersey, but it's like in the woods. And my wife, who also has a T-Mobile phone, she didn't have a signal and I didn't have a signal inside the building. That's the only time, and we were both experiencing the same problem. So a lot of people who had the Pixel 6 and said that there was a weak modem in the Pixel 6, they experienced drop calls. I have not been experiencing drop calls, but I have noticed that the phone signal is not consistently strong anywhere that I go. In addition to that, I started to do some troubleshooting. One of the common Reddit threads stated that it could be your SIM card. This phone supports a virtual eSIM, and I called T-Mobile and I ultimately switched to an eSIM, same exact performance. So switching from the old physical SIM card to an eSIM did not fix this problem. I also noticed that if I toggle on and off from airplane mode, when the phone comes back and the signal comes back, it comes back at full strength, it'll stay that way for about 25 minutes and then it'll drop down. I suspect this issue has something to do with the way the phone is dealing with 5G versus 4G LTE. Because when the phone drops to 4G LTE, it's always a perfect signal. But it's constantly switching back and forth between 4G and 5G. And when it connects to 5G, the signal is typically not strong. Or it's not showing as strong, but again, I haven't had a problem. When I run speed test, which I will also do, let's see if, and by the way, I just used my fingerprint for that and it worked fine. Now, you know what's funny? When you go to speed, the difference between speed test and fast.com, fast.com, I never get more than 15 megabits per second. So it's like it's behind a VPN. I noticed that when I tested at the house and I use fast.com on a VPN, it's always horrible speeds. So I don't know if there's like some like virtualized VPN that the phone, because I know there's some additional security that's built in, but fast always is slow. Here's speedtest.com, not connected to my Wi-Fi. Let's see. What are we getting there? That's at 400. I'm reading it backwards. It's probably going to dip over to 500 if I had to guess. So I've been getting anywhere from 400 to 600 megabits per second when I test it. So again, this is at a sort of mediocre signal with the phone. It went to 500. So I'm getting good performance even though the signal strength is consistently low. So I haven't had performance issues with the phone, but I want to make clear that the signal strength has not consistently been good. But the phone performance has been. I actually opened up a troubleshooting ticket with both T-Mobile, and I mentioned what I did with T-Mobile, and they did switch me to a virtual SIM, and it didn't change anything. But I opened up a ticket with Google. Google and T-Mobile both made me do the same thing. They made me wipe out my network settings. I wiped out all of my Bluetooth settings. It wiped everything out, and I reset everything. That didn't help. So, I've given them all of my IEMI or IMEI information, and they said that I am eligible to return the phone. I'm not there yet because, again, it's been performing just fine. It's doing all the things that I want it to do, and I haven't run into a problem. So regardless of how the phone is presenting the signal strength, it hasn't performed less than my previous phone. So it could be an issue that maybe the meter or the signal is not showing as strong as another phone would, but I haven't had a performance problem. So I want to reiterate that. One of the other things that I don't like about this phone, and I don't think I'm going to win this one. This is not something you can fix. This is my first Pixel phone. I used to buy the Nexus phones with Google, which was a very clean stock Android experience. This one seems to have a bit more of a custom UI that's very Google-centric. I don't like it. There's a part of me that says I guess I should get used to it because I suspect other phones will likely go in this direction with this type of skin because this is the clean Android experience. But in a lot of cases, in order for me to go down into some of these menus, like even if I want to get into my Wi-Fi and toggle my Wi-Fi, I have to like kind of go into a couple of buttons instead of being able to go directly where I want it to go. Same thing with NFC. NFC is buried in a couple of menus. So this sort of tiled approach that they have in their UI, I don't like it. It buries certain settings that I wish were up front. I haven't seen an option to customize that. I've been looking around. One of the other things that this phone has done, similar to Samsung, which I loathe, not the phones, but the power button, the unlock button, holding it down doesn't power it down. You have to do volume up and power. If you just hold the power button down, it'll summon the assistant. I don't like that, and I hated it on the Samsung. It took me forever to figure out how to switch it back to it just being a power button if you did the long press. They did the same thing. I hate it. I hate it. So between some of the menu UI, some of the button placement and the way the buttons operate, not a big fan of that, but I think that's more of a standard UI situation with a brand new phone in 2022. So I don't think I'm winning that fight, but I do dislike it. The other thing is that this phone, they're getting away from back buttons, and there's a lot of swiping gestures. There's more swiping gestures with the phone, which again, I don't care for, but I suspect that's part of the way phones work now. So I guess I have to get used to it. But as a whole, the phone is responsive. It does perform well. The phone is clear. The calls are clear. Some of the other things that are built in are very nice. I like the way the phone takes pictures. I was at a graveyard tour today. I'll post a picture like right now of like the graveyard. Just nice features on the phone. It does a lot of the things that I like. This is the first phone that my corporate phone has wireless charging, but this is my first personal phone that has wireless charging. That's really nice. And that's actually a good segue to some of the Peak Design products that I mentioned earlier. I purchased the Peak Design wireless charger. I'm not going to plug it in because it works like a wireless charger, but kind of strong magnets. So it does the magnet thing. It really is on there. Pretty good. So in the back, the other thing is like, don't obviously try to do where the band is. You have to do it where this square is. So it takes you have to count to like 5 seconds. Sometimes it takes like 5 seconds for it to recognize that the wireless charger is going. But this charger is pretty fast. I keep this on my bedside table. It can go flat too, I guess if you don't have a phone with a magnet in it. So you can charge it normal style, and the USB goes right here. And it comes with some clips. So this goes on my bedside table, but I brought it down to the studio and to my desk to show you guys. And this is like real metal. This is hefty. So when you looked on unlock this thing, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't move off the table. It's not cheap plastic. So again, this is not a commercial for Peak Design. I did not get paid by Peak Design, but they make good products. You know that they make good products. So this works really nicely. Oh yeah, that's a strong magnet. I recommend this if you're into wireless charging. You can't go wrong with this one, and it's nice on the bedside table. Another nifty Peak Design product. I don't know if I'm going to use this one as much. And it comes with a little pouch. Here's another one. You're like, oh, what is this? Magnet. All right, there's magnets, and I like magnets based on my other video. Some of my other videos, I talk about magnets all the time. But this, and it transforms. Who doesn't like transforming things? Check it out. It's a tripod. And the nice thing about this is, and it sits very sturdy, which I don't know if I'm gonna show like B-roll of me doing this, but the other nice thing is if you want to change the orientation, change the orientation just like that. All right, so this sits flush on the back of your phone, and It's really, again, freaking Peak Design. You know how I feel about Peak Design. You guys all know how I feel about them. They did it again. They did it again. They made another great product. And look here, I can do it from the base position. Right? It just pops out, goes like this, and then, oh, yeah. They know what they're doing, especially with tripods and camera equipment. So my closing thoughts on this phone. So far, I haven't had any problems other than the fact that the antenna is saying that it's getting not a great signal. I haven't had any problems with actual performance. The transition from my previous phone was great. The screen is excellent. The camera is excellent. The sound is excellent. The call quality is excellent. The UI sucks. I hate it. I'm sorry. I hate it. But again, I don't think I'm gonna win that one because I think all the phones are gonna end up looking like that. The Peak Design products are lovely, and again, you don't need a Pixel 7 Pro to get the Peak Design phone products, but I highly recommend them if you don't use them or you don't know about Peak Design. And again, I'm not getting paid for this, but Peak Design, if you want to throw me like a free bag or something, that's not going to happen. Also, I would say, should I decide to return this phone, the Google support has been responsive. They've been helpful. They haven't given me a hard time about wanting to return the phone potentially. So I'm going to stick with it for a little while. I want to see at least one other update to see if anything changes. But again, as a whole, I haven't noticed an actual performance problem other than what the meter is indicating. While I am certainly no expert on this phone, I am generally a very knowledgeable person about phones, specifically Android phones, and I hope that this video helped you make a purchasing decision, maybe skewed you in one direction or the other. And if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Good luck with your phone purchasing, and I'll do a follow-up if an update changes anything, or if this phone completely falls off a cliff and the performance starts to degrade in other areas. But I've been through major metropolitan areas, I've been through rural areas, and so far this phone has performed well wherever I have gone. I have not been without a signal except for that one exception out in Bumble near Atlantic City, and all of the phones had the same problem. So good luck with your phone purchases. I hope you have a good experience with the Google Pixel 7 Pro, and I'll be back with another video soon. Two other things. If you saw one of my shorts that I filmed at the Thai restaurant promoting a t-shirt giveaway, that was filmed entirely on the Google Pixel 7 Pro. No fancy microphones. In fact, I had some audio settings. I didn't even realize that you could do some audio settings. So that video turned out pretty nice, all things considered. And that was done completely raw on the Pixel 7 Pro. Second thing is, in case anybody's looking, little t-shirt right here. This is my dog. I like to do t-shirts. I like to do t-shirts of my dog. So I don't know what else to say about that one. But you might be wondering, I try not to actually wear branded product on these videos, and I'm sure nobody ever catches that. And sometimes I do. You will catch me wearing like a branded hat or like an Eddie Bauer sweater or something like that. But as when I can control it, I try to wear my own stuff. And this is one of them. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna even include this in the video, but I thought it was interesting. Take care, everybody.